Yesterday we have just 5 minutes to start, but let me say that both projects, Anywhere and iReact, that were in the same call. Initially, as you know, they are independent. We are the independent groups, essentially competitors. And now the next step is trying to do a different part of the work, because it was the same objective seen by different perspectives in a way in which we can enrich each other and essentially be able to join these kind of communities, support these initiatives, and make progress really the situation. Because as you will see, I will take a little bit more time from in respect to yesterday. We are really, the call was a trap. Huh? The call was really, I don't know who write the lines, but it was really a trap. It's like something that cannot be solved at the moment. And only courageous people can send proposals. There were a lot of proposals, different proposals. We are these two projects there. But now we need to face all the problems that were in this trap. And we need to confront the difficulties that are enormous. So we need to join forces, and we need to join forces with the users, because at the end, the only solution for the things that I will explain you is that, first, as projects, we can add value with our work to the existing data, to the existing forecasts, to the existing tools. Add value first. Second, to prove that if we join what we have in the hands, it's not going to the moon, it's essentially taking what we have in each corner that is not used, and we make something that can be used really operationally by the users. We can face these difficulties, these challenges much better, and then probably we will need to look for the big boss and say, hey, come on, we need to change the paradigm. We need to change the situation, because presently the situation don't allow, and this is a recognition from the very beginning, to do in the reality what we want to do. But let me start with the presentation. So the first thing is that we talk about extreme climate events, and this was the call. The translation we have done is that, well, extreme is quite clear, but that it is a new concept that is now taking more and more space, that it is high-impact weather. What does mean high-impact weather? Essentially, it's weather events with a high impact on the normal life that can go, or can produce a collapse of the socioeconomic activities. For instance, transportation, roads or highways, major damages or loss. And when you, at least me, when I heard extreme event, that means that there is something rare that you cannot expect, that it is probably not normal. And one high impact weather event can be a snowstorm in Southern Europe. This is a Landsat picture in which one event that covered practically all Catalonia of well, 10 to 30 centimeters of snow. In the south of Europe, one snow event is a disaster. It's a total disaster. This is not an extreme event. The people in Finland, the people in Norway joke, and this is not, because it's the normal life. But in the south of Europe, this is not the normal life. The collapse of the infrastructures of the roads, the lines of high power, all this is happening. So this is high impact weather. This is not extreme event. It's a small change. But for an innovation action wanting to go to the market, this is really important, because behind these kind of definitions, high impact weather, there is really a market. Extreme is a very reduced market. So this is a small thing to open the mind. And the second is that, of course, all these events in the times of global change will increase in frequency. This is one of the things we know. Huh? And what we don't know in this global change environment is that what will happen. And when you don't know exactly what will happen, the best you can do is be prepared to adapt or to improve your reaction, because you don't know what will happen in 10, 20, 30 years. But what we know is that the frequency will be increased. So all these high impact weather events will be much more frequent. So at least for anywhere, the objective is to empower exposed responder institutions and citizens to enhance their anticipation capabilities and the proactive capacity of response, in fact, in face of these extreme and high impact weather events. And the idea is that for the meteorological or weather-induced emergencies, the difference with the other emergencies is that we can anticipate what will come. So we have the tools, the skills to anticipate that tomorrow there will be a snow event coming to Barcelona or to Rome or to Athens. And this is very important. Or a strong storm that can affect a hub, an airport hub, or something that can really collapse the normal activity, and this is really what we can try to do. So the objective of the innovation action is taking what is now available, and believe me, we can always discuss why the meteorological forecast is not perfect, or why our model of impacts could be improved, but we have an amazing capability behind all the models, all the forecasts we have now on our hands. So the purpose of this kind of project, innovation actions, is to take what we have now at our hands and make them operationally available to the responders. So this is facing how to fill the gap between the developments of the previous project, of the science, of the developments, what is available, and the operational practice. So at the end, an innovation action wants to have solutions ready to be offered for the market uptake. And well, of course, this is always difficult. That means that we need to face rights, IP rights, data permissions, fees, how to commercialize all these. It's not so simple, but let me say that it is very important, because it's the only way that in the future we will make sustainable the developments, the tools, the support to these emergency responders. Because in our countries, in the next years, these emergency response agencies will not be able to pay for the developments, for the maintenance of these systems. The only way to sustain in the long term is to multiply the users. So the capacity to go to the market is essentially the only way to make sustainable all these developments and maintain the networks of the data, of the forecasts, of the models, or the capacity of communicate. So this is a clever idea, in fact. But, you know, it's a highly regulated sector. This is not a joke. Now it's practically impossible to do what we are saying that we want to do. There are so many barriers, so many difficulties. Even the majority of the national services, when you start to play this role, say these kind of things, the first reaction is that they feel a threat. They fear you because you are like explaining things that can substitute them, or they feel that the purpose is to substitute them. This is not true. We need to respect all these agents, all the actors, and probably define a new paradigm in which we can work together. And essentially, we need to focus on legislation. There are a lot of legislation different in different countries, and take this into account. To respect the single boil principle, essentially for civil protection, this is crucial, but also for the meteorological services. understand that there are limits to use and release data and forecast. If we are able to add value to this data, if we are able to prove that they are useful for the responders, at the end, I think we can be all together and go to the big boss, I don't know where it is, and say, hey, hello, we need to change the situation, because if not, this is not possible. This is not possible to continue in this line, because it's civil protection, it's the saving lives, let me say. It is not just this being richer because we are commercializing the products. Nobody will be rich with these kind of approaches. There is a small spaces for business, that's for sure. Big enterprise or small enterprise can live on that. This is true, but no one will make really a fortune on this kind of application. So this is not the fear. So we need to face these strong barriers. But there are other challenges. It's very easy to say, we will invite all the users the first day, we will be with them and in the dinner, and we will do together. It's quite much complicated. So we need really to think about how to create a co-ownership framework to develop these kind of innovations. This is crucial because it's the only way in which all the peoples in the table can feel that the tool, that the development belong partially to them. It's the only way. As Philippe mentioned, we need to be all together from the very beginning. And this is a challenge. We need also to translate the meteorological forecast, what is normally available, into impact forecasts. We need to talk the algorithms, the models, the products. We need to talk in the language of the users, of the civil protection, of the responders. This is the only way they can use these kind of technologies. So this is also a challenge. We need to bridge the European level in which the things can happen and where the things can be sustainable in long time with the local requirements. The response is at local scale. We cannot think that just with an European tool, the local people that need to face the decisions in the emergency can react. We need to bridge these two worlds. We need to support additional services, essentially oriented to self-protection and self-preparedness, because this is one of the doors to make possible that an innovation action can be implemented in a highly regulated sector and to open the market to sustainable developments. Which is the essential idea of all the project. The idea is start with the weather information and forecast we have at hand now. And remember that the European Center for Medium Weather Forecast is the leading institution worldwide, even over the states' institutions for the medium range forecast. There are a number of things that should be improved or merged, but we have tools at the European scale that are an example worldwide. We need to take these. We have also several platforms that have been developed from European projects and after translated into operational tools by the Joint Research Center. EFAS for the floods, EFIS for the fires. We have the European Drought Observatory. All this is running. We need to combine all this information in a multi-hazard early warning system covering all Europe and a European early warning system able to work 24/7 and producing the translation between meteorological forecast and impact forecast, injecting all the knowledge we have from all these research and development projects we have done in the last, let me say, 10 years. And we need to be able to produce products that will be able to understand or connect with the local authorities, with the responders, products based on impact maps, impact information, that will be bridged to the local world with a sort of platform able to use high-resolution risk map locally available, crowdsourcing, high-resolution local weather forecast, local sensors, in a framework that should be compatible with the existing local systems, IT systems. You cannot tell the people in a region or in a city that they need to change their computers or the computing system. You need to adapt. This is a challenge itself. And from this, we can take a lot of new tools to support reaction. We can support the warnings, widespread dissemination, social media, SMEs, to combine all this information to make tailor-made, tailor-designed self-protection products to support responder coordination and intercommunication to the regional, national, European, local levels. These are all targets that we can try to address. One example. From a previous project, we have been using the composite, the radar composite, produced by HumanNet program Opera. This is an amazing information, really very nice when you see the weather at European scale. It's something that it's there, and practically nobody is using. We took this, we did a demonstration project, and we developed an impact assessment over these kind of projects, but not just on the observations. In the 2 hours up to 6 hours forecast based on radar. Based on radar, we can translate this in impact at the level of floods. This is a case in Montpellier, south of France, in 2014. This is the maps of the index of risk, and this is what has been forecasted 3 hours before. And for flash flood, let me say 3 hours is a world. Is really a change of the paradigm of what we have now at the level of the responders, being able to know with this precision, not an area, is the river, the sector of the river that can be affected 3 hours before. This is really a step ahead. This is an example of all this transformation that can be packed on the project. Who we are to try to do all this? In collaboration with AREACT, and in collaboration with all of you, for sure. Well, we are a project with 31 partners. That is a challenge itself to manage this kind of big consortium. But the important is that in the consortium, we have 14 operational authorities. So we have started with this idea. From the very beginning, the users, the real operators, the responders are there from the very beginning. We have 13 partners and RTD that are essentially former project coordinators, so that store, that have the map to link previous work, previous algorithms, previous models, previous developments to make all these connections possible. And 6 SME and industries trying to start this market uptake. And we have 4 pilot sites, Ligurian Sea, Catalonia, Switzerland for the Alps, and Scandinavia for the Nordic countries, representing, let me say, quite well all this variety of climates and difficulties. And these pilots, the idea is not just purely doing a demonstration. We will use the pilot implementation for test and validation of the tools. We will support operational activities during a good part of the project. The demonstration will be not prepared, will be real life with the civil protection of these areas. We will try to transform this pilot demonstration in showrooms, showcases, and at the end, open the solutions to the market. This is the Innovation Action Plan. And, well, to do it, I borrowed this transparency from Nicola that is really nice. Of course, when you try to improve something, sometimes, the majority of times, the very simple ideas are very good first steps. And you can do a major advancement with a very simple idea. And we are normally focusing on very complex solutions, and probably a good idea that is very simple enough is good. And when we start thinking, of course, we recognize who are these people. Of course, these are the end users, always doing big and hard work. And on the other side, you have research and industries and SME partners with the good solutions. But when you start thinking a little bit more, you think that probably sometimes the roles can be switched. And you can have that probably is the partners real to the reality who have the simple ideas that can be implemented to solve really the problem. So with this spirit, let me say, we start this kind of discussion and projects. And for doing that, what we need for sure first is building a team. Feel a family like a team. And after this, it's making possible to get excited about what we can do together. This is the first step. And the second is feeling able to cooperate. And we need to feed that. This is not happening by chance. You need to put energy to make these kind of things. And of course, the last step is how to open the project to external providers and users, because if not, there is too much work, and the barriers are too high. We need to be open. And what we invented or we proposed, this is a very complex chart, but the big thing is that we prepare 2 boards on the project to be there, one for external industries and another for external stakeholders. That means that 31 partners is too much. We cannot add continuously new partners, but we have the possibility to have boards. And we will open the project to 50 industries and 50 stakeholders more. So in the workshops we can invite, we have the budget to do this, 100 external institutions to come to discuss with us. So, and the plan is that we will have 4 workshops during the life of the project. The first one will be in Italy, 7 September this year, almost in 2 months. The first will be asking the external, what do you think about these problems? I have this idea. What's your opinion? What's your suggestion? And we will move to a second one in Helsinki next year, in which we will show the first version of the tools, and we will ask again to this external, what's your opinion, what can be improved? And the third, we will be with the pilots, and we will ask again to the external, we will cooperate with the externals and offer the opportunity to these external enterprises to connect their own technology to the platform and to participate in the pilots. It's not just seeing the results of the project, is inviting the externals to add the technology, because going to the market, because solving the challenges and pass the barriers, it's not a problem of 31 partners, it's almost for all of us working on this kind of issues. And a final project workshop in Brussels at the end. And we will have 2 trainings, one in the National School of Civil Protection in Spain, and the other one in the ERCC in Brussels in 2019. And I will finish letting get you the flavor of the project through the video we have prepared during the kickoff meeting that was 10 days ago. So we have started 1st June, we had the kickoff meeting, we are now here. This is an extremely hard start, but I think that can be very positive. So if you can put the video, please. Hey, the video. And I will finish with the video. Thank you very much. Anyway, is an innovation action of the program Horizon 2020 from the European Union, wanting to use the available developments and research from previous projects and bring these results to the market. This is the concept of an innovation action. The objective is to empower the responders, authorities, and the citizens at risk in front of the emergencies induced by the weather condition.
what we expect from this project, first of all, is learn more about the management emergencies from the other partners of the team. And also, we would like to have an easygoing tool to give a quick response for the citizens, for the population.
And what we expect from the project is to have feedback, especially from the communication, and to be able to use the platform that will be implemented.
There was a good start, and our coordinator was able to motivate us. I think there is a good team of persons that want to contribute to this project and produce good solutions for the people, for the first responders, in order to save lives during emergencies.